Okay, good morning, Mr. Hammond. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm Matthew McDonald, for all the viewers out there from the Knoxville Bar Association's Judicial Committee. And we are interviewing candidates in this year's upcoming election. And we have this morning Mike Hammond, who is the current Criminal Court, General Sessions Court, and Fourth Circuit Court clerk. That's a lot of courts. And he was first elected in 2014 and reelected in 2018. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And we've got just a few questions that we're going to be asking candidates this year. And these questions were approved by the Knoxville Bar Association's Judicial Committee. And all of the questions will be asked of the judicial candidates and also those candidates running for judicial posts, such as clerks of court. And so we'll just go ahead and get started if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Can you briefly describe what makes you qualified to serve as the clerk of the Criminal Court, Sessions Courts, and Fourth Circuit Court?
Well, as you mentioned, I was elected in 2014 and reelected. And so I'm going into year number 7 in my position here. And so I think the fact that I have 7 years of experience under my belt, I have really learned a lot about the court system, about the clerk's office, the operation of the clerk's office, and also feel like I have a grasp of what is needed in the future. And so I feel like that putting all those things together makes me very qualified to seek a third term.
Thank you very much. And what do you consider, and this is a question a little bit more abstract, what do you consider your greatest strengths and weaknesses as regards to this post or in general?
I think that my greatest strength is my business background. I was in the private sector. Most people know I was in the radio business for a long, long time, but I was in management and leadership. And so I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about running a successful business. And I have tried to bring those things to the office, everything from customer service, making sure that the lawyers and the public and the judges get what they need before a court case, making sure documents are available, making sure that they're accurate. I think also the money standpoint has been very important for this office. And I think the collection efforts that we have had have been very successful. And I think being able to streamline the way that we collect our money and the way that money is distributed, because we distribute money to 87 different agencies. It's not just all the money comes to Mike Hammond's office. We collect the money and it's passed through a lot of times. And I think that we've made great strides in doing that. So I would say that my greatest strength is the fact that I do bring this business background to the office. Probably my biggest weakness would be is I get impatient. When you're in the private sector, you can get things done and you can get things done very quickly. I found in the government sector, things tend to move a little more slowly. And so my biggest weakness is I want to get it done. I want to move forward. I want to see solutions to problems and that type of thing. And sometimes the government wheels just turn slow.
Thank you. What have been the most effective methods for improving the clerical, the clerk's office, and the court procedures and efficiency?
Well, when I came on board in 2014, I frankly was shocked at the fact that from a technology standpoint, our office was way behind. Not only were we way behind in Knox County, we were way behind other offices in the state. As I would go to state meetings, I would find that other offices had technology. They had a lot of things that were streamlining processes. We didn't have that here. And so that was one of the things that I started out doing from day one, was seeing what can we do from a technology standpoint to bring us into the 21st century. And we have had a lot of great strides over the last few years. For example, we have started scanning our documents. When I came on board, we had scanned 0 documents. We've now scanned 1.2 million. That's been very helpful to members of the legal community because we're now able to email things. We're going to be utilizing that in our criminal office here within the next couple of months. The other things that we have done is we have a brand new website so that the public can access when their cases are. We have screens up now downstairs so that when people come into the courthouse, they can look at the screens, know where they're supposed to go for court, which was a big thing because people come in and they don't know if they go to courtroom number 1, 2, or 3. That has really helped streamline things. But also in the office, we have made a lot of strides in the office to make sure that everyone has the latest computer software, that they are trained, and that they know successfully how to do that. The same thing with our counters. We have improved our phone system. And so I could go on and on and on. But from a technology standpoint, I'm very proud of that. We have been able to get things for our courtrooms, our jury rooms, for example. Judge McMillan down in Fourth Circuit, we have now something called the JAV system, which has not only audio, but video recording. And so that has proven to be very helpful to members of the legal community.
Thank you. What additional improvements would you recommend for the future of the judicial system and/or the clerk's offices?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is get e-filing. We've been working on that for some time, and you would think that would be a simple process. It's really not, because you have to work with the AOC and you have to get approved vendors and those types of things. But priority one for me is going to be e-filing. The second priority is going to be a new case management system. Right now we have the GEM system. Frankly, I'd like to take that system and throw it into the river. We really need to get a new case management system because the one we have was 1998. And also the financial system that we have, FoxPro, you cannot even get support for that anymore. So we're working with a very antiquated system. Our IT department has done a really good job of putting together the improvements and enhancements that we've needed. But I've already talked with the mayor and we're all on board that we need to identify a case management system. That's 2 or 3 years down the road. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight, but that's something that really, really needs to happen. Another thing that we're working on, and as a matter of fact, we're going to start meetings very soon on a mental health court. That's something that I think is badly needed in Knox County. Sharm Allen, Eric Lutton, our judges, the people are on board. And so we need to come up with a framework as to exactly how that would work. And then the last thing I would suggest that is going to be a big improvement to the judicial system is the video courtroom at the detention facility. I think COVID showed us that there are certain things that we can do and protect people's rights, but also streamline things so that we can keep people safe and also just, again, from an efficiency standpoint. And so we're going to have a video courtroom that should be up and going in March or April, which will have 6 different courtrooms. And that's going to be beneficial not only to my office, but also juvenile, for example. Judge Irwin's very excited about this. It'll help our magistrate's office. And so those are some of the things that we have in the pipeline that I want to get accomplished over the next 4 years.
What is the biggest challenge? You've outlined a couple things about technology and the implementation of this new courtroom. What is the biggest challenge you see facing the clerk's offices here in the near term?
Well, I think the biggest challenges are going to be the implementation of that because the video courtroom is going to be implemented. Again, e-filing, we have to work with approved vendors. We also have to work with vendors, for example, on the new software system. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge is getting all of that done. As I mentioned earlier, I get a little impatient. I want to get things done quickly, but in government, you follow procedures and so forth. But I want to try to see if we can get that done as quickly as possible, particularly on the e-filing. That's something that the state Supreme Court has made a priority all across the state. And the new Chief Justice is asking the question, why are you not having e-filing? What's the hangup? And so we want to go ahead and get that done as quickly as possible. So the biggest challenge is going to be to work with all of the parties involved. It's not just my office on a new case management system. I mean, you're talking about the sheriff's department, you're talking about the judges, you're talking about the DA, the private bar, the public defender. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of pieces that have to come together. And I think that's going to be the biggest challenge.
And here's a bit of a non sequitur, but our final question for the list: who are your personal role models, and how have they shaped your approach to your duties as the clerk of court?
Well, I would have to say that all of my years at WIVK, I had a gentleman by the name of James Dick, who was the owner of the company. And so I was able to work very directly with him and some of the other people there. But he was a great role model for me. I would consider him a father figure as well, because he was just a tremendous business person. A lot of respect and integrity in the community. He was always one who looked at how can we be better? What can we do to improve, not be satisfied with the status quo? So I would say that he was probably my first mentor. I would say another person that had a great impact on my life was Pat Summitt. I've been doing the public address announcing for the Lady Vols, and so I was with her for about 25 years. And so just being around her, seeing her standard of excellence, always striving to get better, always striving to be the best and not settle for mediocrity. I think those are things that I have brought to the office as well, is to train our people, encourage them to be better, encourage them to learn, and to be better clerks. And while I've been in this office, quite frankly, I've made some friends with judges, members of the Bar Association, and I've always appreciated their help. And they've made suggestions as to what we can do to improve. Richard Major has been a great asset, and I've really appreciated my association with all of our judges. And as I mentioned, members of the private bar, from time to time, they have come and made suggestions and said, hey, we think you should do that. And there have been a couple of times where they said, hey, Mike, you're screwing up. you need to do better. And I appreciate all those things. And so I feel like that they have been mentors as well.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes the prepared questions. The Knoxville Bar Association, the Judicial Committee, is also giving all of the candidates 1 minute at the end of these questions just for a final closing remark. So you can begin.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to members of the Bar Association. I have met a lot of the lawyers and people of the Bar Association over the last 7 years. I think I've outlined some of the things that I want to get accomplished over the next 4 years. And that is the new case management system, our financial system getting updated, e-filing, working on the mental health court. The mental health court, I think, is going to be very significant. Just returned from Nashville, where we met with the Judge Blackburn and members of the mental health court in Nashville. Their success rate is 82%. That means taking people out of the judicial system, getting them on a program, and they don't return. And so if we can have that same type of success here, that's going to make, it'll be huge, I think, for the judicial system and for individuals, just getting them off the street and getting them into a productive program. I think that another thing that we've done is we've implemented a driver's license program where we're actually helping people get their driver's license back. We've already helped 1,500 people. We're going to continue that and enhance that in the future. So I'm looking for the opportunity of serving again for the next 4 years. And again, I appreciate the opportunity of being with you, Matt. And we miss you here in the City County building, but we know that you're doing great where you are now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.